With Pokemon Sun and Moon coming out this holiday season, it leaves us longtime fans of the Pokemon franchise extremely hyped for what's to come in the new Pokemon games. What I'm here to talk about today is actually something a little bit different, but it pertains directly to what I'm almost 95% sure will be something we'll see in Pokemon Sun and Moon, or at least something along these lines. Today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Rainbow. Now, what is Pokemon Rainbow? Well, a little while back, about a week before Pokemon Sun and Moon were announced, there was a leak about a title called Pokemon Rainbow, but nobody could really figure out the meaning behind it, and people started making jokes like, oh, now they've ran out of gems and minerals to use, so let's move on to more colors again, but this time, put it all together. Wait. What did I just say? What did I just say? Put it all together? Well, actually, that's exactly what Game Freak and the Pokemon Company have planned for us. Here, allow me to explain a little bit more in depth. First of all, with a name like Pokemon Rainbow, most people could assume things like, oh, well maybe it signifies that they're going to add a new rainbow type. Well, that's very unlikely due to the fact that I highly doubt that Game Freak would make a new type in a Pokemon game, and then name the title of that game based around the new type. Oh, and trust me, I have heard that several times. I know, my reaction was the exact same as yours was when I first got that idea proposed to me. Others have said things like, well, maybe now they're going to try and add some stuff to the new games that makes it better than all the games put together. And with that in mind, it really got me thinking, what if there is actually more to that than you think? What most people later realized once Pokemon Sun and Moon were officially announced at the Pokemon Direct that week, we all realized that Pokemon Rainbow is actually the code name for Pokemon Sun and Moon. People said Nintendo haven't revealed much yet, but I'll be the first to tell you that those people are wrong. So let's take a look at the first thing this could mean. First of all, before I get into what I have to say, I want to give credit to TyranitarTube for what I'm about to say here because he is entirely responsible for bringing a large majority of this news to a larger crowd of the public. After the codename for the Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon project was cracked thanks to the webmaster of PokeBeach, TyranitarTube came to the conclusion that it's possible that the 7 colors of the rainbow could relate to each of the generations coming together as one, making it ultimately possible to capture all 800 and however many Pokemon there will be by the time Sun and Moon come out. Once again, big shout out to T-Tar for that one. Go check out his channel in the description if you haven't heard of him before. Like I said, the link is down there. Now allow me to delve a little bit deeper into this one as well. Let's assume that the case is you're able to, in some way, shape, or form, obtain every single Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon. And to do that, Game Freak has secretly given you help along the way without you even realizing it. Remember Pokebank? Yeah, I don't really know how many of you actually use that nowadays, but it's actually really helpful, honestly. But with Sun and Moon coming out, it has allowed the virtual console versions of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow to be compatible with Sun and Moon via Pokebank. And so that right there, first of all, leads me to believe a few things. Number one, because Sun and Moon are the 7th generation, that means that they are going to run on a slightly different engine than before. So with that in mind, you can take a look and see how the overall user interface has changed over the years and how different the games look as time goes on. Now this year, they're changing it up yet again, no surprise. One other thing that always happens every time they release a new generation is the inability to transfer Pokemon from previous generations through direct trades. You instead were always given an in-game feature or methods from Game Freak, like the Pal Park in 4th gen, where you could transfer your Pokemon from Fire Red, Leaf Green, and all the other 3rd gen games over to your 4th gen games like Diamond and Pearl, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, etc. Then in Gen 5, they have the Poke Transfer Lab. In Gen 6, they had the Poke Transporter that was originally bundled with Pokebank. So with that in mind, I feel like once Sun and Moon come out, you'll probably be able to transfer Pokemon directly from 6th gen to Sun and Moon with Pokebank or even Poke Transporter, because that's how they did it last time with Gen 6 games, and now they might do that for Gen 7. It allows you to transfer Pokemon from your Gen 1 games that are exclusive to the game onto Pokemon Sun and Moon, and with every game after Gen 3 till Gen 6 being compatible, this means that if you have a Pokemon in Gen 4 that you wanted to transfer to Sun and Moon, you would transfer it all the way up to X and Y and then Pokebank it to Sun and Moon, so you could travel through all the generations with it. This would also, in theory, allow you to capture every single Pokemon in just Sun and Moon alone, with the help of other games using specific methods given to you by Game Freak. This would also allow Game Freak to make the main story of the game have specifically only 7th generation Pokemon to really show off their new creations and get people used to them. And then in the after game, they could allow players to start using the transfer system and get their Pokemon from older games onto the new ones. And let's be honest, we want as much time in the sun for the new 7th gen mons because there really weren't that many cool ones in 6th gen. There were some, but there was only like less than 100. The next thing that Pokemon Rainbow could also mean is something even deeper than that. Something else than just including previous Pokemon from all generations into Sun and Moon. But they might also add in previous fan favorite features, walking around with your Pokemon. So with that being said, what we could expect is something along the lines of this. One big game-changing feature. And that example would be like walking with your Pokemon. And one big returning storyline feature, and an example of that sort of suits what I'm talking about, would be the Magma and Aqua teams. There would be 2 evil teams trying to oppose each other, basically. I will have a top 10 video that further discusses what I think that they will bring to the table in terms of features they're going to add into Sun and Moon and all that. That video will be linked on screen and now in the description as well, so you can check it all out, you know, on a card as well. You can check it out however you'd like to if you wish to. So if you add all those together, you get all the fan favorite mechanics plus bits and pieces from other parts of the story all coming together in a brand new adventure. Just as they say it in the trailer.
2006, 2010, 2013, and in 2016. It all comes together in an all-new Pokemon adventure.
So with that in mind, the code name for Pokemon Rainbow essentially breaks down to a much deeper meaning behind what Pokemon Sun and Moon holds for us. And out of all the code names they could have used, Pokemon Rainbow is what they went with. So here's why they did that. All generations from 1 to 7 come together, meaning all Pokemon are obtainable in one game. One common mistake I always hear people make is when you ask them what their favorite generation is, and they say Johto. No bruh, I said generation, not region. Certain elements that were big parts of or fan favorites of previous Pokemon games will be returning in Pokemon Sun and Moon potentially. And furthermore, that Pokemon Sun and Moon, I am 99.9% sure this region takes place in Hawaii. First of all, Hawaii is also known as the Rainbow State. In Hawaii, they drive cars with license plates that have rainbows on them, seeing as they are the Rainbow State. Well, if you look very closely, although it's not that clear, you can see what looks like a rainbow on the license plate of this truck. What's even cooler that you'll notice about this is that in Hawaii, the fire department drive yellow fire trucks, and you can see what appears to be a Blastoise in the back of a truck with red flashing emergency lights on the top of it. This yellow truck right here. Seeing as Blastoise is a water Pokemon with literal cannons that shoot water, you can make the assumption that links this car model as a fire truck. There's a bit more evidence, but I think I proved my point. Also, what I failed to mention in the beginning of this video is the fact that Game Freak may be taking a slightly different approach than what I first stated. They may also make it so that all Pokemon are obtainable within just Sun and Moon alone. So this would mean no time spent transferring Pokemon through several generations and buying several consoles and games to do it. You can just get all of the Pokemon ever created in just Sun and Moon. Now either way, this would make sense with the name Pokemon Rainbow, but if we had to choose which outcome sounds more probable in this situation based on what information we've been given so far, I would have to say I think they named it Pokemon Rainbow for a reason. And that is because the generations are coming together. No, not the regions. There's no way there's going to be some kind of Poke-Pangea type of thing going on. Well, with Zygarde on the loose in Sun and Moon, that actually could be plausible now that I think about it. That just gave me a really good idea, actually. I'll speak about that in a future video in about a week or so from now. But anyways, it implies that all Pokemon are going to be obtainable from every region. All in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Also, to further back up this point, I'm going to answer so many people's questions with these few words. Think about it. Why else would Game Freak release all of the event legendaries that were previously extremely hard, or most were extremely hard to get a hold of, in the same year that Sun and Moon come out? I'm sure it's really starting to all come together now, isn't it, folks? With all this in mind, we can assume that all of what I said in this video is true. Maybe only some of it will end up being true, or maybe even none of all of this will happen at all. But I'm highly confident on the fact that there will 100% be something out of what I said in this video that I mentioned today in Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's just a waiting game at this point, but one thing's for sure though. Game Freak is definitely going to show the meaning of Pokemon Rainbow, because all the colors of the rainbow are definitely coming together on this one. You'll just have to wait and see. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this theory video, make sure to share this video with a friend and tell them to check it out as well if you would like to. See what they think of it as well while you're at it. Also, as always, a lot of work goes into making these types of videos, so if you have a second to leave a thumbs up on the video, I would really appreciate it, and feel free to check out and subscribe to my channel for any further upcoming Pokemon Sun and Moon top 10s, theories, news, information, and most importantly, gameplay. Once the game is officially released worldwide, I'll be your #1 source for Pokemon Sun and Moon content as well as just Pokemon in general. Obviously, you know that already. Thank you all once again for watching, and I'll see you dudes in the next one.